Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope all is well with you. I just want to let you know that I am more of a drip pour over type of guy, but we're not going to talk about the V60 today. In this video, we're going to talk about these brewers right here. What they are percolators and also immersion brews. And I'll let you know which one is my favorite as we talk about the pros and cons of all these brewers. So the ones that we're going to be talking about here is the French press, the mocha pot, AeroPress, and the Bonavita immersion dripper. Okay, so let's get into it. We're gonna start off with the French press. The French press is a very easy coffee brewer to use. Put coffee in the bottom, you wait a couple of minutes, plunge it down, and then you have your cup of coffee. I would say cons of the French press is that there's sediment at the bottom that seems to seep through no matter what. It is less of a clarity in a cup of the coffee. So sometimes when you have roasters put things on bags of what the coffee tastes like, you don't really get so much of what that is. To me, you get more of a coffee type of taste. So with that being said, that's one of the biggest drawbacks. So that's why, at least for me, why I tend to stop going with the French press. So the pros, it's easy to use. It's super easy to clean too. And all you have to do is just wait a couple of minutes, 4 to 5 minutes and then you're ready to go. I would say a lot of times what people recommend is a coarser grind, but I'll say more so like a drip grind that you can get away with. And then it won't be too bitter. It'll really come out a lot better than what I think for a coffee. So that's the French press, okay? Now let's talk about the Bonavita. About the Bonavita is that it's actually relatively expensive. You know, I'll put something on the screen to show you where you can get it on Amazon and stuff. But let's talk about the cons. The cons about it is that for me, I get more of a hollow type of taste. You know, like when you have an apple, for instance, and you bite into the outside of the apple, that's more so the taste that you get. You don't get so much of the interior, the core of the apple, the taste of what an apple is. So that's what you get mostly with an immersion brewer. There's also another one that's called a Clever. It's plastic, and that one's probably relatively a little bit cheaper, but that's really to me the biggest con. You don't get the total clarity of the cup. A pro with this particular dripper, right, is that it does use paper filters. I love paper filters because it does give you that clarity that I'm talking about. So this one is an easy brewer to use. Close the hole right here, and then it's closed up top. Brewer, you put water up top, and then you wait about 4 to 5 minutes. And I like a drip medium grind on this coffee. So like I said, I do like it better, a lot better compared to the French press, but it does give you more of a hollow exterior type of taste of that coffee. That's the Bonavita immersion dripper. So now we got the good old mighty AeroPress. The way the AeroPress works is that you put coffee up top, right here. It kind of drips down a little bit, but not as much as you would consider for a drip coffee maker. And then you have a filter. Right now I use a melt, and then you wait a couple of minutes, more like less than 2 minutes or so, depending on your recipe. And then you plunge and you go slowly, and it's pressurized. So that's the AeroPress. The cons. I would say that it doesn't give you the clarity as much as I would like it to. The thing about the paper filters is that it's still, some of the sediment still leaks through. It's relatively easy to clean, you know, that's a pro. Again, I'm comparing this to a Hario V6. Sometimes different types of coffees, you may get better tasting coffee, but a lot of times it's a step better than what a French press. So now let's go ahead and talk about the actual pros. It is easy to use, easy to clean, and you get a decent, unique type of tasting coffee. You know, like I said, I'll probably use this to really change it up for my coffee needs. So again, this is not something I grab all the time, but when I do like playing around with it. My wife likes a full body type of coffee, so that's when I use it mostly for her. For myself, since I'm more of a filter type of person, I do prefer a little bit more clarity in the cup of coffee. So this is the AeroPress, okay? I left something out when I was talking about the AeroPress. One of the biggest cons about the AeroPress is that it is literally a 1 cup brewer. That if you're making it for many people, it's kind of hard to do that. You can. They do have a newer brewer that probably can double the size of it, but it's still not as big or comparable to the other brewers that I did show. Yes, I did show you a small little French press, but I don't drink French press a lot, but you know, they have bigger French presses that you can actually buy and stuff and use. So this is one of the biggest cons with AeroPress, is that it's extremely small capacity and you have to keep making cups of coffee. Also, while I have you, this plunger right here. This thing is awesome in the beginning. If you use this thing every day, you are going to be in for a rude awakening when this plunger doesn't really hold a seal when you're plunging down. It does it now, but trust me, there's been many times where when you're pushing down with pressure, it can get stuck, and then it doesn't get stuck, and then it goes all the way down, and then the water comes out. It's a hassle. So there's a couple things you can do with that. If you're witnessing that, you have to either brew a lot longer, because you're gonna have to have a coarser cup of coffee. So then when you actually plunger, it can actually be able to, the water can actually go down, okay? I'm not using the right terminology, but you understand what I'm saying, okay? Or even after doing that and it still kind of does that, you have to buy another AeroPress, so, which sucks. And I think the AeroPresses are about 40 bucks now. So these equipments are not cheap, but once you get going and understand what they are and what they do for you, then that's what you got going, okay? So those are the serious cons to me with the AeroPress. And the paper filter really doesn't do that much in providing clarity in the cup. All right. Sorry, I forgot to add this, but now you got it. I didn't want to make an incomplete overview. Right. Last but not least, this is the mocha pot. The mocha pot came from Italy. Actually like this more than espresso, actually. I know it's fighting words, but. So what it is that it's a percolator type of coffee maker. So you put water to this line right here, at no more than that, actually lower than that. And then you put coffee in the basket, you put it up top. And then there's a screen right there to help, filter the coffee. And then the coffee comes up from the top. So a pro tip, should do with the mocha pot is actually warm up water in the kettle or in a microwave or whatnot. The reason why is because it takes a very long time for it to actually come up to brew, So I would say that that's the best thing to do with the mocha pot. But let's go ahead and talk about the cons. I would say the cons of the mocha pot is that there's a lot of work to get a good cup of coffee. You have to put water in here. After you put water in here, you have to put the basket in, then close this up. You have to put it on the stove for at most about 5 minutes if you use water from the hot kettle or from the microwave. And once it's done, if you're not too careful, if it's too high, what happens is that it can sputter and everything like that. And then if you open this up, it can get on you, it can hurt you. And then when you're done pouring out your cup of coffee, you have to let it sit for about 20-30 minutes so it can get cool. So the setup and the tear down is a lot of work for the mocha pot, but it's very rewarding. And let's go to the pros. The pros, I would say you'll get the most full body but clarity in a cup compared to all of the other brewers that we've talked about. I don't know how it does that, but it just works really well. I would say a medium grind should be where you should be at. You can do that for all these coffees, but for the mocha pot, you don't want to go too fine because you don't want to choke the system. But the coffee comes out very hot, very consistent, and you get that deep taste first. And then as the coffee cools, you can kind of get an idea. So that's more so the mocha pot, It's a really good brewer. It's very rewarding, even though there's a lot of work that you have to do, but that's okay. That's okay. So this is the mocha pot, okay? We're at the end. Okay, I just briefly, not that much information, but just enough to kind of pique your interest in when I was on a stranded island or whatnot, so to speak. Which one would I pick? That's actually an easy choice. The one that I would pick is the mocha pot. The reason why is because it just makes a really good cup of coffee. I will deal with all the hassles, all the work involved in order to make a good cup of coffee. See, I guess for me, that's the most important thing. A good cup of coffee, like the clarity, what it tastes like, and all that good stuff. all these brewers will work out pretty well, but if I cared more about what I'm tasting in coffee, this is the one that I go to all the time. And one thing that I've noticed with when I recommend this coffee to people is that it works on so many different layers and different ways for people. You know, mine is clarity. Somebody else may be, I just like how strong it is, you know? So that's the beauty of the mocha pot, you know? I think a lot of people are sleeping on the mocha pot because nobody really talks about it as much. But I do want to let you know that this is a good coffee brewer. All these are really good coffee brewers too, but it depends on what you like more than anything. And hopefully you did get a understanding of what I'm talking about and also what you think you may like in a coffee brewer and the reasons why. So with that being said, so what do you care about? Do you care about the ease of use, which these like the French press, the AeroPress, and actually even the Bonavita, they're really easy to use, you know? There's not that much work involved into these brewers. Do you care about the full bodiness of the coffee? Do you like the sediment at the bottom? I don't know. It's up to you, you know? But I do hope that you did get something from this, and let me know what you like, what you don't like in a coffee brewer. If you just like a simple Mr. Coffee type of machine that just turn on, whatnot, and you're just happy with that, let me know. So signing out. Talk to you later. Bye.